Good evening and welcome to the Rock Monster Show on Vectis Radio. I've got a very special show lined up for you tonight. I've got a guest in studio. We've got Jezza in the studio. He's not listening. Good evening, Jezza.
Good evening.
Jezza's on holiday here on the Isle of Wight with his family. We've got Maria, Chloe and Marcus in the studio as well. Of course, Jezza's from the Spider Boogie fan wagon on Facebook, so we're going to be talking all things Spider later on. I also got a special guest on the phone joining me right now. Good evening, Buzz Eilliot of Hammerhead.
Hello, Pyro. How's it going, mate? All right.
Not bad, thanks for joining us. Of course, you was in Hammerhead, or you still are in Hammerhead, band from the new wave of heavy metal era, and you actually, I looked it up, Hammerhead actually formed in the mid-70s. You've been going for quite a while.
That's right, yeah. Probably more towards the tail end of the 70s. That's when it all started, really. We sort of connected to the new wave of British heavy metal scene, but really speaking, we're more sort of just like 70s, like heavy rock, really. But we kind of got bundled into that scene. A lot to do with the single, really. Time Will Tell was a single that sort of got known within that scene, you know. So we've always been kind of connected to it.
Yeah, and I looked up, you won runner-up in the Battle of the Bands Newcastle Heat in 1975. Was you in the band then?
No, that was before my time. That was the rest of the lads had formed as a three-piece originally, under a different name, under the name Destroyer. And then they changed the name to Hammerhead, and I joined it around about 79, just going towards 1980. We got a new drummer in at the time, and we played under that lineup for probably about four or 5 years.
Right, and I got that you left the band in 1984, and eventually you reformed in 2005. How did that come about?
Yeah, that was we'd never planned to reform, really, and we got asked to play at a friend's birthday party, and all the local rockers in the area were going to be at this party, and they asked if Hammerhead would reform and play. So we got back together, and then that was 2005, and everything what's happened has kind of mushroomed since then, really.
It's pretty good, Tilly. It's good that people remembered and they wanted to hear you.
Yeah, I mean, unbeknown to us, a lot of little bits and bobs that were recorded back in the day had been filtering around on the underground and even into other countries, you know. And so we found that we had a sort of a small but international fan base out there.
Right, and who did you work with in the 80s?
Say again, sorry.
Who did you work with? Any other bands that you used to work with?
Bands that we would have supported at the time, you know. We supported Budgie a couple of times. We travelled about a lot within maybe about a 100-mile radius of where we lived. We never really got down south much, you know, and we certainly didn't go overseas or anything. We're always more just a kind of underground local band type of thing, you know.
Right.
But we always felt as though our material was good enough to take us further, but just never seemed to happen, you know. I think the dawn of the internet has kind of opened up quite a few doors for us.
That certainly does that. I'm still finding now that I'm still discovering bands from the 70s and 80s that I'd never heard of. Some people say, listen to this, or I found them on rock shows like this, yeah, or on YouTube and Facebook. It's just surprising, and it was always a pet hate of mine, these people that control radios who never actually only played certain bands for one reason or another, and it just really annoyed me. Now we've got some really good music we're discovering that you've never heard of, and I find it's great.
Yeah, well, I would agree with you on that, and it's happened to me quite a lot. I've got friendly with people over the internet, and they all say, check this out, check that out. I discovered there was a great band called Dawn Watcher, which I'd never heard of. They're a bit proggy, and I like that kind of sound, you know. So you know, even to this day, certain radio stations are still guilty of playing all the mainstream stuff. Like, you know, there's not enough underground stuff out there really on the airwaves.
No, there's not.
But the you know, this type of thing, you know, what you're doing is fantastic.
Well, I'm playing all sorts of stuff. If I find something I like it, I just play it, and I don't mind playing the long tracks. And And of course your sound is predominantly heavy, but you do sort of dabbles in other styles, if that's the right word. Because we're gonna play a track at the end, right at the end of the show. Because I picked two of your tracks, and I didn't when I picked them, I didn't realise one I picked 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to hear in a minute, "Feel I'm Falling," and the other one is 14 minutes, which is the prog track.
That's right. It's a bit of a crossover that for us, because we're certainly not a prog band. But some of our songs have got sort of proggy elements to them, you know, and I'm a big prog fan myself, you know, so that has an influence on the way that I think. But I mean, most of our stuff tends to be more like classic 70s rock in style. But we're a bit of a mixed bag, really. I would say it's probably hard to pigeonhole at times.
Yeah, I got Michael Todd to thank for putting me on to you, because he said I should listen to you, and he said I should get you on the show, so I'm really thankful for him to pointing me in your direction.
That's right, yeah. Todd is a good lad. We've been mates a long time. We go back a long way. And we did gigs with them back in the day, a long time ago. And we still see them once a year. They have like an annual bash up at Carlisle, and last time we went up and we played along with them. We actually did a support slot while they did their annual gig. Yeah.
Right, yes, I want to see his band myself, because Silver Cloud has heard some of the stuff, and I really like it.
Yeah, they're a good band. They're good headbanging sort of band, you know. Some of the stuff, a bit of a mixing styles again, but I mean they're quite melodic, and one or two of the songs remind me a bit of the sort of Hawkwind style of playing, you know that. Yeah,
because he always plays in Carlisle, I believe, when he comes over. And I said to him that next time they come over, no, Carlisle's a million miles from the Isle of Wight, but I really am going to try and get up to Carlisle.
Yeah, it's always a good night. A lot of good friends together. If you make it up there, Pyro, you'll be assured of a good night.
I'm sure.
Good venue though as well, the Brickyard.
Yeah.
They've got a big sound system in there. It's a good place to play.
Now, I've got a throwaway question I ask all my guests. It's been set by one of my listeners. If you could go back anywhere in time, who would you like to see live on stage?
Right. There's lots of things. I could name a lot of my heroes there, but I did get to see a lot of those. Yeah, but one band I would have absolutely loved to have been right there, back in the cavern, would have been the Beatles.
Wow, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, I'm a massive Beatles fan. They influence the way that I think when I'm songwriting. I absolutely love them, and I do like acoustic nights where I can call upon maybe 30, 40 songs that I've learned. I'm a bit of a Beatles obsessive, really.
Yeah, because I do believe that we did have the Beatles play on the Isle of Wight, which is unheard of these days. The big bands, apart from the Isle of Wight festival, they wouldn't come near the island. So, yeah. And I did hear we had Pink Floyd as well. So it's amazing to think bands that used to come and play on the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, well, I think it's a similar thing up north. You know, back in the day when the bands were trying to promote all the songs in the old-fashioned way, they would put them on a package tour and go around, and all these bands came around our area. Maryport Palace Ballroom was one place, and the Beatles played in Carlisle, as did I think Jimi Hendrix. Brian, that plays with me in Hammerhead, he went to see Jimi Hendrix there.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of they were all going around Scotland and then down into Carlisle, and I can still remember my sister getting ready to go out to see Black Sabbath when they were at the Cosmo. And I was only a kid. I was into rock music even when I was about 9 or 10, you know, because my older brother had a few records lying about, and I absolutely loved Black Sabbath. You know, they're one of my biggest early influences, along with Atomic Rooster and one or two others. But anyway, my sister brought me a poster back from that. I wish I still had it, but basically it was the photograph of the centre spread of either the first or I think the first album, maybe the second. Yeah. Black Sabbath at the Cosmo.
Well, I never seen Black Sabbath. That would have been really good.
I'm sort of kicking myself really. I didn't make the effort to go down to Hyde Park, and a few of my friends went down there, and I looked at the photographs and I thought, you know, I should have gone really.
I think it was probably the last chance to see them as well.
Yeah, they're still sounding good, mind. I really enjoyed the 13 album.
I did, yes. Of course, you're a very busy man. Thanks for joining us. And I know you play, not only do you play in Hammerhead, you do solo work. You play in another band as well, don't you?
Yeah, I have a couple of covers bands. One called the Bullfrogs, one called Slag Bank. And I do like acoustic sort of shows as well. I did one last night, actually. It was a charity night out at a little village in Cumbria called Heskett Newmarket. And the place went absolutely insane, to be honest.
Well,
I think they were all due a good night out. That's what it was, and it was for charity. Yeah, so they all. We've got a lot of activity coming up with Hammerhead. I don't know if we've got time to mention.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll quickly read you the ones we've got. On the 18th of July, we're playing at the Vine Bar in Workington. That's next week. 25th of July, we're at the Snooty Fox in Wakefield. 26th of July, we're at Rumours in Grantham, which we've never done before. 2nd of August, we're at the Riverside in Selby. 3rd of August, we're at the Diamond in Mansfield. 30th of August, we're at the Low Seaton Rock Festival. That's going to be a good day. It's an all-day, that one. 4th of October, we're at the Bootleggers in Kendal. And on the 9th of November, we're doing a bit of a package tour where we're taking 3 bands down to Burnley to play at the Talbot. And that's a good gig because I helped out my friend Thin Lizzy Tribute Band a few months ago at a gig in that pub, and it was absolutely fantastic. So if there's any rockers out there, that's the place to be.
Okay, that's great. And do you want to plug your website while we're here for people to check you out?
Yeah, we're on Facebook. You just look out for Hammerhead, and we have a website which is www.hammerhead-uk.co.uk. So,
yep, I did notice there was an American band called Hammerhead who was looking for your website yesterday. So,
I think there's a sort of punk band I think using the same name these days, and there's a band in Sweden I think has the same name. One in America. It's just we weren't really aware of that years ago, but once the internet came along, we find out there's like lots of bands with the same name. You know, can't be helped really.
No. Anyway, thanks for joining us tonight, and keep in touch. Anything you've got going on, we'll always plug it for you.
Yeah. Just one thing before we play the track. We always have a lot of admiration for the guy that produces us. He's a fella called Guy Forrester, and if there's any bands want to do some recording, he's absolutely fantastic, and he does a really great job for our band. He's kind of like he's like a virtual member of the band in a way, because he always makes our records sound very professional for an underground band, you know. And another guy I'd just like to quickly mention is Chris Topham. Chris runs a little vinyl label called Plain Groovy, and they've just agreed to release this album when we get it all completed. So one of the tracks you're going to hear later on will be the last track on the new album, which is as yet untitled.
Okay, I'll be looking forward to hearing that then.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thanks for joining me tonight. Let's hear your track then, Feel I'm Falling.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, Pyro. Keep rocking, man.
And you, thanks. Good night.
Bye.